Everything seems to be in order. Hey, Steven. It's good to see you. How are my audio levels?
Hey, you. Finally awake. You were trying to cross the border, right? Walked right into that Imperial ambush, same as us. And that thief over there.
Yeah, I can tell the game's lagging a little.
Stormcloaks. Skyrim was fine until you came along. Empire was nice and lazy.
Hey, Nyron. Yeah, I can tell the game's lagging.
Hadn't been looking for you. Could have stolen that horse and been halfway to Hammerfell. You there, you and me, we shouldn't be here. It's these Stormcloaks the Empire wants.
We're all brothers and sisters in vines now.
It's also good to see you, Nyron. It's been a while.
Shut up back there.
What's wrong with him, huh?
Watch your tongue. You're speaking to Ulfric Stormcloak, the true High King.
Ulfric? The Jarl of Windhelm? You're the leader of the rebellion. But if they've captured you... Oh gods, where are they taking us?
I don't know where we're going, but Sovngarde awaits.
No, this can't be happening. This isn't happening.
Hey, what village are you from, horse thief?
Why do you care?
A Nord's last thoughts should be.
There we go.
Rorikstead. I'm from Rorikstead.
General Tullius, sir.
Had to get it off of gamepad mode.
Let's get this over with.
Sure. Mara, Debella, Kinneret, Akatosh, Divines, please help me.
Look at him. General Tullius, the military governor. And it looks like the Dalmor...
Alex, thank you so much for the resub, my friend.
I bet they had something
It's
to
been
do
quite
with
some
this.
time. It's good to see you.
This is Helgen. I used to be sweet on a girl from here. Wonder if Vilod is still making that mead with juniper berries mixed in. Funny, when I was a boy, they Imperial walls and towers used to make me feel so safe.
Rayloff does like to yammer.
Where are they going?
I know that, Nyron. I haven't had a chance to change anything yet.
Why? I want to watch the soldiers.
It's the intro cutscene.
Inside the house. Now.
Yes, Papa.
Get these prisoners out of the cars. Move it!
Why are we stopping?
Why do you think? End of the line.
I want to see how it behaves when I get to an interior, and then I'll pause and tweak settings.
Let's go. Shouldn't keep the gods waiting for us.
No, wait! We're not rebels!
Face your death with some courage, thief.
You've got to tell them! We weren't with you! This is a mistake!
Step towards the block when we call your name. One at a time.
Empire loves their damn lists.
Ulfric Stormcloak, Jarl of Windhelm.
Alright, let me see now. Yeah, we're getting frame skips. My connection's not great. No, I don't want mods. A no walking run in Skyrim. Come on now. There we go. Let me see. I can't really change the graphic settings much here, but I don't think the graphics are really the problem either.
Has been an
I think it's my
honor,
connection.
Jarl Ulfric.
Rayloff of Riverwood. Lokir of Rorikstead.
Steven, I'm at my
I'm not a
girlfriend's
rebel.
house today.
You can't do this!
Packed my stuff up.
You're not
Brought it
gonna
over.
kill me.
Archers! Anyone else feel like running?
Wait. You there. Step forward. Who are you?
Alright. Gonna do the usual character here. I always play a Breton. It is known. Strip to the preset I like. The old dude. Yeah, well, I can't really do much about the connection. I'm glad the graphic settings are okay though.
You from Daggerfall, Breton? Fleeing from some court intrigue?
That's the Arconian
What
maid.
should we do? He's not
Lifts
on
her
the
tail.
list.
Forget the list. He
I
goes
could be
to the
Crentius
block.
Colto.
By your orders, Captain. I'm sorry. We'll make sure your remains are returned to High Rock. Follow the captain, prisoner.
Ulfric Stormcloak. Some here in Helgen call you a hero, but a hero doesn't use a power like the voice to murder his king and usurp his throne. You started this war, plunged Skyrim into chaos, and now the Empire is going to put you down and restore the peace.
What was that?
It's nothing. Carry on.
Yes, General Tullius. Give them their last rites.
As we commend your souls to Aetherius, blessings of the 8 divines upon
For the love of Talos,
Hi,
shut
Garrus.
up.
Hi, Martin.
Let's get this over with.
learn.
It's good to see y'all.
As you wish.
Come on! I haven't got all morning. My ancestors are smiling at me, Imperials. Can you say the same?
You Imperial bastards!
Justice!
Death to the Stormcloaks!
As fearless in death as he was in life.
Next, the Breton!
Here it is again. Did you hear that?
I said, next prisoner!
To the block, prisoner. Nice and easy.
It's a connection issue, Karis. I'm sharing an internet connection. I'm at my girlfriend's house today. I don't live here, but packed my stuff over.
What in oblivion is that?
Sentry, what do you see?
Martin, it's really good to see you, bud. It's been a long time. My fault, not yours. Alright. Unbound, I've been captured by the Empire and sentenced to death alongside the Stormcloak rebels. We were taken to Helgen, but before I could be executed, a dragon appeared and attacked the town. I need to find some way to escape. Make your way to the keep. Use WASD to move.
What is that thing? Could the legends be true? Legends don't burn down villages. We need to move now!
Up through the tower. Let's go! Come on with me! We just need to move some of these rocks. Let's go! Get back!
See the inn on the other side? Jump through the roof and keep going.
Go! We'll follow when we can.
Press space to jump. Whee! Gotta love that legendary damage at level 1.
You need to get over there. Now! That boy, you're doing great. Hurrah! Still alive, prisoner? Keep close to me if you want to stay that way. Gunnar, take care of the boy. I have to find General Tullius and join the defense.
Gods guide you, Hadvar.
Juniper flavored mead.
Stay close to the wall!
This game is almost 10 years old. I can hardly believe it.
Quickly, follow me! It's you and me, prisoner. Stay close. Stay low, you damn traitor. Out of my way.
They're not stopping us this time.
Fine. I hope that dragon gets you all the starboard guard.
You, come on! Into the keep!
With me, prisoner. Let's go.
Alright, we can enter the keep with Hadvar or Ralof. I'm not going to get into huge amounts of detail for the live stream, but suffice to say that my intention is to enter the keep with Hadvar. I am keeping my lists for this run. I intend to keep it somewhat persistent. So let me really quickly mark off my starting items. So, as far as locations go, we have discovered the town of Helgen. As a Breton, I know the conjuration spell Conjure Familiar, and like all characters, I start with the destruction spell Flames and the restoration spell Healing. So those are coming off my list. And you start with one rough spun tunic, which I'll actually hold on to and enchant later on. I find I derive some sentimental satisfaction off of using the initial prisoner's clothes for my enchanting loop later on when I'm able to. The foot wraps don't really matter, but can still hold on to them. And with that, I'm just about ready to actually enter the keep. Perfect. Yes, I am going to... I'm gonna do Ironborn. I'm gonna mod out carry weight. So it's gonna be mostly vanilla, but I am gonna do no fast travel, and I'm gonna play on legendary. But regarding no fast travel, I think carry weight restrictions are kind of where fun goes to die. So I'm gonna console out carry weight restrictions, and then play a no fast travel legendary run. Let's get to work.
Quick! I can cut you loose inside the keep!
Looks like we're the only ones who made it. Was that really a dragon? To bring us to the end times?
I found that by far my favorite thing about survival mode was the no fast travel. You just end up so much more familiar with the world, seeing so much more stuff, gathering up all the random encounters much more easily. So, alright, we've entered the keep with Hadvar. Next is escape Helgen.
We should keep moving. Come here. Let me see if I can get those bindings off.
What's up, Hadvar?
There you go. Take a look around. There should be plenty of gear to choose from. I'm going to see if I can find something for these burns.
Find some equipment. Alright, let's see what we can see. So, I'm gonna go ahead and mod out carry weight. I'm gonna use Force AV because I want it to be permanent. I don't want it resetting between sessions. And I'm gonna set it to 100,000. Just so I... Oh. Never mind. Force AV carry weight. There we go. So now, I should never have to worry about carry weight again. That's the idea. I hate that nonsense, after all. Alright, mixed unit tactics. I'm not gonna read the book out loud. Well, maybe I will. I will, actually. Mixed Unit Tactics in the 5 Years' War, Volume 1 by Codus Colonus. The legions could learn from the unconventional tactics used by the Khajiit in the 5 Years' War against Valenwood. I was stationed at the Sphinx Moth Legion fort on the border near Dune, and witnessed many of the northern skirmishes firsthand. The war started with the so-called Slaughter of Torval. The Khajiit claimed that the Bosmer invaded the city without provocation and killed over 1,000 citizens before being driven off by reinforcements from a nearby jungle tribe. The Bosmer claimed that the attack was in retaliation for Khajiiti bandits who were attacking wood caravans headed for Valenwood. In the spring of 396, the Boer moved closer to Fort Sphinxmoth. I was posted on lookout and saw parts of the conflict. I later spoke with both Khajiit and Bosmer who fought in the battle, and it will serve as an excellent example of how the Khajiit used a mixture of ground and tree units to win the war. The Khajiit began the fight in an unusual way by sending tree-cutting teams of Cathay-Rot and the fearsome Sencha-Rot, or Battle Cats, into the outskirts of Valenwood's forests. When word reached the Bosmer that trees were being felled, allegedly a crime in the strange Bosmeri religion, a unit of archers were dispatched from larger conflicts in the south. The Bosmer were thus goaded into splitting their forces into smaller groups. The Bosmer archers took up positions in the remaining trees, whose branches were now 20 or more feet apart, allowing some light into the forest floor. The Bosmer bent the remaining trees with their magics into small fortifications from which to fire their bows. When the tree cutters arrived the next morning, a half-dozen Khajiit fell to the Bosmer arrows in the first volley. After that, the Khajiit took large wooden shields from the backs of the Sencha-Rot and made a crude shelter. The Khajiit, even the enormous Sencha-Rot, were able to hide between this shelter and one of the larger trees. When it became apparent that the Khajiit would not leave their shelter, some Bosmer chose to descend and engage the Khajiit sword to claw. When the Bosmer were nearly upon the shelter, one of the Khajiit began playing on a native instrument of plucked metal bars. This was a signal of some kind, and a small group of the man-like Omis and Omis-Rot emerged from covered holes on the forest floor. Although outnumbered, they were attacking from behind, by surprise, and won the ground quickly. The Bosmer archers in the trees would have still won the battle were they not having troubles of their own. A group of Dagi and Dagi-Rot, two of the less common forms of Khajiit who live in the trees of the Tenmar forest, jumped from one tree to another under a magical cover of silence. They took up positions in the higher branches that could not hold a Bosmer's weight. When the signal came, they used their claws, and either torches or spells of fire, accounts from the 2 survivors I spoke with vary on this point, to distract the archers while the battle on the ground took place. A few of the archers were able to flee, but most were killed. Apparently, the Dagi and Dagirot have more magical ability than is widely believed, if they were able to keep themselves magically silenced for so long. One of the surviving Bosmer told me that he saw a few ordinary cats among the Dagi, and even claimed that these ordinary cats are known as Alfiq, and that they were the spellcasters. But Bosmer are almost as unreliable as the Khajiit when it comes to the truth, and I cannot believe that a house cat can cast spells. At the end of the day, the Khajiit lost perhaps a half-dozen fighters out of a force of no more than 4 dozen, while the Bosmer lost nearly an entire company of archers. The survivors were unable to report back before a second company of archers arrived, and this strategy was repeated again with similar results. Finally, a much larger force was sent, and the Bosmer won that battle with the help of the native animals of Valenwood. That third skirmish and the Khajiiti response I will discuss in the second volume of this series. No, Martin, I am not using SkyUI. Obviously.
See if one of these chests has some armor for you.
I don't want to use any actual mods because I want to be able to go after achievements. And using mods disables achievements. Alright, mixed unit tactics. Off my very long book list. Alright, so here's what we start with. Foot wraps and rough spun tunic. Spells, we start with Conjure Familiar, our power, Dragon Skin. So Conjure Familiar, summons a familiar for 60 seconds wherever the caster is pointing. Dragon Skin, absorb 50% of the magicka from hostile spells for 60 seconds. Flames, a gout of fire that does 8 points per second. Targets on fire take extra damage. And Healing, heals the caster 10 points per second. I'm going to favorite all 3 of these. Favorites. While in game, press Q to open the favorites menu, which allows you to quickly use or equip items you have marked as your favorites.
Look to in one of these chests. Look around.
Leave the flames for now. There's an Imperial light helmet and some gold. Go ahead and put that light helmet on for the moment.
See if one of these chests has some armor for you. Got to be a sword or 2 in one of these chests. Look around.
A couple of iron swords, which I will also favorite for now. And in the Warden's chest, we've got Imperial light armor, Imperial light boots, an iron sword, and a Helgen Keep key.
Gotta get that armor on. Yep. Sword a few swings too. Let's keep moving. That thing is still out.
Have I seen Gloomwood? I have not. Oh wait, is that the... That's the indie game that's a lot like Thief, right? I haven't played it yet, but I've seen it. Very good. Oh yeah, I got my buckets. Alright, we found some equipment.
We need to get moving. That dragon is tearing up the whole keep.
Just give me a minute. I'm out of breath.
Hear that? Stormcloaks. Maybe we can reason with them. Hold on now. We only want to...
Press mouse 1 to attack, hold mouse 1 to power attack. Magicka low. Your magicka is low, which may prevent you from casting spells. Drink a potion or wait for it to recover. Nice work, Hadvar. Alright. Iron Warhammer, Stormcloak Cuirass, Fur Boots, and Fur Gauntlets. I'm going to equip the Fur Gauntlets. I'm actually going to use the Iron Warhammer. Press R to ready your weapon.
Must have scared him. Let me see if I can get that.
Two-handed to 16. Iron Battle Axe. I'm going to focus on stuff I'm not really planning to use first, just so I have the fuel to get my crafting perks. So I did need 2 sets of gauntlets, both of which I just picked up. Iron War Axe. That's something I will want.
Let's keep moving.
So if you try to go back outside, the door is blocked from the other side. Doesn't work.
Let's go.
Settle down, Hadvar. I'm on it. Press mouse 2 to block.
Just a scratch. As good as that.
Hadvar, you go in the lead, buddy.
Go to your kind.
Two-handed's at 18 already. That's fun. 19.
I know the store. See if we can find it. Potions. Might come in here.
Boomer shooters. Optional. Search the barrel for potions. We will do that. Let's loot the room first. That first potion of minor healing is actually a somewhat significant item. It's eventually going to go to Wujita in Riften to deal with the Skooma Dealer quest line. I'm going to remove it from my checklist. Alright. Never sleep on the alchemy ingredients. Very important. Okay, here's the potion barrel. That objective just disappears. Doesn't mark as complete, which is a little weird, but not gonna complain too much. Rock warbler eggs, those are good for alchemy. We want everything we can get.
Done then. This way.
IRP a vacuum cleaner. No, Martin, you need a potion of cure disease for that encounter.
Gods, I wish we didn't need these.
Good seeing you, Nyron. Thanks for stopping by. Take care. Two-handed to 20. Two-handed to 21. And lo and behold, we're at level 2.
Show me what
I love kill cams. Love them.
you
You fellows happened along just in time. These boys seemed a bit upset at how I've been entertaining their comrades.
Don't you even know what's going on? A dragon is attacking Helgen.
Alright, so... Oops. No, I want the Warhammer equipped. I'm gonna get rid of the sword and favorite the dagger, because remember, my favorite dual wield for one-handed is dagger in the offhand, heaviest weapon, a mace in the right.
A dragon, please, don't make up nonsense. Although, come to think of it, I did hear some odd noises coming from over there.
Come with us. We need to get out of here.
You have no authority over me, boy.
Didn't you hear me? I said the keep is under attack.
Forget the old man. I'll come with you.
Wait a second. Looks like there's something in this cage.
Don't bother with that. Lost the key ages ago. Poor fellow screamed for weeks.
See if you can get it open with some picks. We'll need everything we can get.
Optional. Attempt to pick the lock to the cage.
Sure. Take all my things. Please.
Grab what you can and let's go.
Alright, they're done talking. Let's level up. When your level increases, you must choose to increase your health, magicka, or stamina. You can also select a new perk at this time or save it for later. Available perks are highlighted in each constellation. We'll go with health first, and our first perk is going to be Alchemist 1. So, an alchemist can create magical potions and deadly poisons. Potions and poisons you make are 20% stronger. Yes, please. Let me take that off my build plan. Very good. Alright. What's up, dog?
Leave me to my work, unless you plan to stay and help. Leave me to work, unless you plan to stay and help.
Alright, let's do everything we can without picking a lock first. 4 picks, another potion. And here we have the Book of the Dragonborn by Prior Emmeline Madrine, Order of Talos, Waynon Priory, year 360 of the Third Era, 21st of the reign of His Majesty Pelagius IV. One thing right quick. Oops. All right. So zap that. Zap the Book of the Dragonborn off the list. There it is. Alright, what do I still have? That's good. 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 Good. Alright. Onward. Hey, Crisis. You want to see me crack Oblivion? It'll happen eventually. Alright, let's check out the book. Many people have heard the term Dragonborn. We are, of course, ruled by the Dragonborn emperors, but the true meaning of the term is not commonly understood. For those of us in the Order of Talos, this is a subject near and dear to our hearts, and in this book I will attempt to illuminate the history and significance of those known as Dragonborn down through the ages. Most scholars agree that the term was first used in connection with the Covenant of Akatosh. The blessed Saint Alicia was given the Amulet of Kings, and the dragon fires in the Temple of the One were first lit. Akatosh, looking with pity upon the plight of men, drew precious blood from his own heart, and blessed Saint Alicia with this blood of dragons, and made a covenant that so long as Alicia's generations were true to the dragon blood, Akatosh would endeavor to seal tight the gates of oblivion and to deny the armies of Daedra and undead to their enemies, the Daedra-loving Aliads. Those blessed by Akatosh with the dragon blood became known more simply as Dragonborn. The connection with the rulers of the Empire was thus there from the beginning. Only those of the dragon blood were able to wear the Amulet of Kings and light the dragon fires. All the legitimate rulers of the Empire have been Dragonborn, the emperors and empresses of the First Cyrodiilic Empire founded by Alicia, Riemann Cyrodiil and his heirs, and of course Tiber Septim and his heirs, down to our current emperor, His Majesty Pelagius Septim IV. Because of this connection with the emperors, however, the other significance of the Dragonborn has been obscured and largely forgotten by all but scholars, and those of us dedicated to the service of the blessed Talos, who was Tiber Septim. Very few realize that being Dragonborn is not a simple matter of heredity. Being the blessing of Akatosh himself, it is beyond our understanding exactly how and why it is bestowed. Those who become Emperor and light the dragon fires are surely Dragonborn. The proof is in the wearing of the amulet and the lighting of the fires. But were they Dragonborn and thus able to do these things? Or was the doing the sign of the blessing of Akatosh descending upon them? All we can say is that it is both and neither, a divine mystery. That's what you call foreshadowing. No kidding. Oh, just wait till the end of this book, though. The line of Septims have all been Dragonborn, of course, which is one reason the simplistic notion of it being hereditary has become so commonplace, but we know for certain that the early Cyrodiilic rulers were not all related. There is also no evidence that Riemann Cyrodiil was descended from Alicia, although there are many legends that would make it so, most of them dating from the time of Riemann and likely attempts to legitimize his rule. We know that the Blades, usually thought of as the Emperor's bodyguards, originated in Akaviri crusaders who invaded Tamriel for obscure reasons in the late First Era. They appear to have been searching for a Dragonborn. The events at Pale Pass bear this out, and the Akaviri were the first to proclaim Riemann Cyrodiil as Dragonborn. In fact, it was the Akaviri who did the most to promote his standing as Emperor, although Riemann himself never took that title in his lifetime. And of course, there is no known hereditary connection between Tiber Septim and any of the previous Dragonborn rulers of Tamriel. Helping Ulfric and then kill him. Whether there can be more than one Dragonborn at any time is another mystery. The emperors have done their best to dismiss this notion, but of course the imperial succession itself means that at the very least there are two or more potential Dragonborn at any time, the current ruler and his or her heirs. The history of the Blades also hints at this, although little is known of their activities during the interregnum between Riemann's empire and the rise of Tiber Septim. Many believe that the Blades continued to search out and guard those they believed were or might be Dragonborn during this time. Lastly, we come to the question of the true meaning of being Dragonborn. The connection with dragons is so obvious that it has almost been forgotten. In these days, when dragons are a distant memory, we forget that in the early days being Dragonborn meant having the dragon blood. Some scholars believe that was meant quite literally, although the exact significance is not known. The Nords tell tales of Dragonborn heroes who were great dragon slayers, able to steal the power of the dragons they killed. Indeed, it is well known that the Akaviri sought out and killed many dragons during their invasion, and there is some evidence that this continued after they became Riemann Cyrodiil's Dragon Guard, again the connection to dragons, the direct predecessor to the Blades of today. You end up being the champion of almost every single deity in Tamriel. Also true. I leave you with what is known as the prophecy of the Dragonborn. It's often said to originate in an Elder Scroll, although it is sometimes also attributed to the ancient Akaviri. Many have attempted to decipher it, and many have also believed that its omens had been fulfilled, and that the advent of the last Dragonborn was at hand. I make no claims as an interpreter of prophecy, but it does suggest that the true significance of Akatosh's gift to mortal kind has yet to be fully understood. So this basically just takes you through the events of the first 4 games. When misrule takes its place at the 8 corners of the world, that of course refers to Arena and the 8 pieces of the Staff of Chaos, as split up by Jagar Tharn. When the Brass Tower walks and time is reshaped, referring to the warp in the west at the end of Daggerfall. When the thrice blessed fail and the Red Tower trembles, that is the fall of the Tribunal in Morrowind, at the end of Morrowind. When the Dragonborn ruler loses his throne and the White Tower falls, that is, of course, the death of Martin, the final septim, in Oblivion. When the Snow Tower lies sundered, kingless, bleeding. We don't have a lot of detail on that yet, but of course that's the civil war in Skyrim, after the murder of High King Torrig. The World Eater wakes and the wheel turns upon the last Dragonborn. That's us! Big surprise, right? Alright, so we have an iron mace and an iron shield in here. I'm gonna favorite the mace, first of all. I'm gonna finish up two-handed first, but I'll hold on while I'm holding on to everything. That's why I got rid of carry weight. Then I'll start working on block. We got a couple more books in here to check out. The first 2 volumes of Brief History of the Empire. Strike those off my list. Redguard and Battlespire are forgotten. Well, Redguard was I've never actually played either of them. I'm told that Redguard was an okay game, and it's kind of sad that it was overlooked. I'm also told that Battlespire is best forgotten. But I've never played either, so I can only say what I've heard. Brief History of the Empire. V1. A Brief History of the Empire, Part 1, by Stronach Thodge III, Imperial Historian. Before the rule of Tiber Septim, all Tamriel was in chaos. The poet Trecissus called that period of continuous unrest, days and nights of blood and venom. The kings were a petty lot of grasping tyrants who fought Tiber's attempts to bring order to the land, but they were as disorganized as they were dissolute, and the strong hand of Septim brought peace forcibly to Tamriel. The year was Second Era 896. The following year, the Emperor declared the beginning of a new era. Thus began the Third Era, Year Aught. Don't forget to grab the limeware platter. For 38 years, the Emperor Tiber reigned supreme. It was a lawful, pious, and glorious age when justice was known to one and all from serf to sovereign. On Tiber's death, it reigned for an entire fortnight as if the land of Tamriel itself was weeping. The Emperor's grandson, Pelagius, came to the throne. Though his reign was short, he was as strong and resolute as his father had been, and Tamriel could have enjoyed a continuation of the Golden Age. Alas, an unknown enemy of the Septim family hired that accursed organization of cutthroats, the Dark Brotherhood, to kill the Emperor Pelagius I as he knelt at prayer at the Temple of the One in the Imperial City. Pelagius I's reign lasted less than 3 years. Pelagius had no living children, so the crown imperial passed to his first cousin, the daughter of Tiber's brother Agnorith. Kintyra, former queen of Silvanar, assumed the throne as Kintyra I. Her reign was blessed with prosperity and good harvests, and she herself was an avid patroness of art, music, and dance. Kintyra's son was crowned after her death, the first emperor of Tamriel to use the imperial name Uriel. Uriel I was the great lawmaker of the Septim dynasty and a promoter of independent organizations and guilds. Under his kind but firm hand, the Fighters' Guild and the Mages' Guild increased in prominence throughout Tamriel. His son and successor Uriel II reigned for 18 years, from the death of Uriel I in 3rd Era 64 to Pelagius II's succession in 3rd Era 82. Tragically, the rule of Uriel II was cursed with blights, plagues, and insurrections. The tenderness he inherited from his father did not serve Tamriel well, and little justice was done. Pelagius II inherited not only the throne from his father, but the debt from the latter's poor financial and judicial management. Pelagius dismissed all of the Elder Council and allowed only those willing to pay great sums to resume their seats. He encouraged similar acts among his vassals, the kings of Tamriel, and by the end of his 17-year reign, Tamriel had returned to prosperity. His critics, however, have suggested that any advisor possessed of wisdom, but not of gold, had been summarily ousted by Pelagius. This may have led to some of the troubles his son Antiochus faced when he in turn became emperor. Antiochus was certainly one of the more flamboyant members of the usually austere Septim family. He had numerous mistresses and nearly as many wives, and was renowned for the grandeur of his dress and his high good humor. Unfortunately, his reign was rife with civil war, surpassing even that of his grandfather Uriel II. The War of the Isle in 3rd Era 110, 12 years after Antiochus assumed the throne, nearly took the province of Somerset Isle away from Tamriel. The united alliance of the kings of Somerset and Antiochus only managed to defeat King Orgum of the island kingdom of Pyandonia due to a freak storm. Legend credits the Sigic order of the Isle of Artaeum with the sorcery behind the tempest. The story of Kintyra II, heiress to her father Antiochus' throne, is certainly one of the saddest tales in imperial history. Her first cousin Uriel, son of Queen Potema of Solitude, accused Kintyra of being a bastard, alluding to the infamous decadence of the imperial city during her father's reign. When this accusation failed to stop her coronation, Uriel bought the support of several disgruntled kings of High Rock, Skyrim, and Morrowind, and with Queen Potema's assistance, he coordinated 3 attacks on the Septim Empire. The first attack occurred in the Iliac Bay region, which separates High Rock and Hammerfell. Kintyra's entourage was massacred and the Empress taken captive. For 2 years, Kintyra II languished in an imperial prison believed to be somewhere in Glenpoint or Glenmoral, before she was slain in her cell under mysterious circumstances. The second attack was on a series of imperial garrisons along the coastal Morrowind Islands. The Empress's consort, Contin Aranix, fell defending the forts. The third and final attack was a siege of the imperial city itself, occurring after the Elder Council had split up the army to attack western High Rock and eastern Morrowind. The weakened government had little defense against Uriel's determined aggression, and capitulated after only a fortnight of resistance. Uriel took the throne that same evening and proclaimed himself Uriel III, Emperor of Tamriel. The year was 3rd Era 121. Thus began the War of the Red Diamond, described in Volume 2 of this series. And Brief History of the Empire V2. A Brief History of the Empire Part 2 by Stronach Thodge III, Imperial Historian. Volume 1 of this series described in brief the lives of the first 8 emperors of the Septim dynasty, beginning with the glorious Tiber Septim, and ending with his great-great-great-great-grandniece, Kintyra II. Kintyra's murder in Glenpoint while in captivity is considered by some to be the end of the pure strain of Septim blood in the imperial family. Certainly it marks the end of something significant. Uriel III not only proclaimed himself Emperor of Tamriel, but also Uriel Septim III, taking the eminent surname as a title. In truth, his surname was Mantiarcho from his father's line. In time, Uriel III was deposed and his crimes reviled, but the tradition of taking the name Septim as a title for the Emperor of Tamriel did not die with him. For 6 years, the War of the Red Diamond, which takes its name from the Septim family's famous badge, tore the empire apart. The combatants were the 3 surviving children of Pelagius II, Potema, Sepphoris, and Magnus, and their various offspring. Potema, of course, supported her son Uriel III, and had the combined support of all of Skyrim and northern Morrowind. With the efforts of Sepphoris and Magnus, however, the province of High Rock turned coat. The provinces of Hammerfell, Somerset Isle, Valenwood, Elsewhere, and Blackmarsh were divided in their loyalty, but most kings supported Sepphoris and Magnus. In 3rd Era 127, Uriel III was captured at the Battle of Ichidag in Hammerfell. En route to his trial in the imperial city, a mob overtook his prisoner's carriage and burned him alive within it. His captor and uncle continued on to the imperial city, and by common acclaim was proclaimed Sepphoris I, Emperor of Tamriel. Sepphoris's reign was marked by nothing but war. By all accounts, he was a kind and intelligent man, but what Tamriel needed was a great warrior, and he, fortunately, was that. It took an additional 10 years of constant warfare for him to defeat his sister Potema, the so-called Wolf Queen of Solitude, who died in the siege of her city-state in the year 137. Sepphoris survived his sister by only 3 years. He never had time during the war years to marry, so it was his brother, the 4th child of Pelagius II, who assumed the throne. The Emperor Magnus was already elderly when he took up the imperial diadem, and the business of punishing the traitorous kings of the War of the Red Diamond drained much of his remaining strength. Legend accuses Magnus's son and heir Pelagius III of patricide, but that seems highly unlikely, for no other reason than that Pelagius was king of Solitude following the death of Potema, and seldom visited the imperial city. Pelagius III, sometimes called Pelagius the Mad, was proclaimed emperor in the 145th year of the Third Era. Almost from the start, his eccentricities of behavior were noted at court. He embarrassed dignitaries, offended his vassal kings, and on one occasion marked the end of an imperial grand ball by attempting to hang himself. His long-suffering wife was finally awarded the regency of Tamriel, and Pelagius III was sent to a series of healing institutions and asylums until his death in 3rd Era 153 at the age of 34. He gave no fucks. The Empress Regent of Tamriel was proclaimed Empress Kataraya I upon the death of her husband. Some who do not mark the end of the Septim bloodline with the death of Kintyra II consider the ascendancy of this dark elf woman the true mark of its decline. Her defenders, on the other hand, assert that though Kataraya was not descended from Tiber, the son she had with Pelagius was, so the imperial chain did continue. Despite racist assertions to the contrary, Kataraya's 46-year reign was one of the most celebrated in Tamriel's history. Uncomfortable in the imperial city, Kataraya traveled extensively throughout the empire, such as no emperor ever had since Tiber's day. She repaired much of the damage that previous emperors' broken alliances and bungled diplomacy created. The people of Tamriel came to love their empress far more than the nobility did. Kataraya's death in a minor skirmish in Blackmarsh is a favorite subject of conspiracy-minded historians. The sage Montelius's discovery, for instance, of a disenfranchised branch of the Septim family and their involvement with the skirmish was a revelation indeed. When Cascinder assumed the throne upon the death of his mother, he was already middle-aged. Only half-elven, he aged like a Breton. In fact, he had left the rule of Wayrest to his half-brother Uriel due to poor health. Nevertheless, as the only true blood relation of Pelagius, and thus Tiber, he was pressed into accepting the throne. To no one's surprise, the Emperor Cassinder's reign did not last long. In 2 years, he joined his predecessors in eternal slumber. Hey, CCD! It has been a long time. I'm not live very much anymore, but it's great to see you. Welcome. Uriel Lariat, Cassinder's half-brother and the child of Kataraya I and her imperial consort Galavir Lariat, after the death of Pelagius III, left the kingdom of Wayrest to reign as Uriel IV. Legally, Uriel IV was a Septim. Cascinder had adopted him into the royal family when he had become king of Wayrest. Nevertheless, to the council and the people of Tamriel, he was a bastard child of Kataraya. Uriel did not possess the dynamism of his mother, and his long 43-year reign was a hotbed of sedition. Uriel IV's story is told in the 3rd volume of this series, which we'll get to when we get to. Alright, let's pick these locks now. Lockpicking. Use mouse to rotate the lockpick, then W to rotate the lock. The closer the pick is to the correct position, the more the lock will rotate before the pick breaks. Only when it is in the correct position will the lock fully rotate and open. There's nothing in this one. That's the important one. We got gold, a potion, novice hood, novice robes, and most important, a spell tome for sparks. Lightning that does 8 points of shock damage to health and magicka per second. Boom. I'm gonna favorite that one as well. Take sparks off my spell list. And onward we roll. That one's empty. Some had.
No way out that way.
Lock picking to 16. Excellent. Take that bone meal. Take that coin purse. Keep it rolling. Loot the bodies. He doesn't have anything.
We need to find a way out of here.
Let us stick together down here.
Where in Oblivion are we supposed to go? Where's the way out?
Just give me a minute. Let me think. Stormcloak!
Receive it or suffer
I want to hit the oil slick over here. My assistant bro got killed. His Imperial light bracers are an upgrade, so let's throw those on. I knew that was about to happen. I wanted to back off and heal up. Okay, come on now. Alright, I need to hide behind Hadvar a little bit. Get him baiting their attacks. There we go. There you go. Get wrecked. I'm gonna favorite the longbow. Archery will be in my final mix when the time comes. There you go. Get wrecked.
Let's see if we can find a way.
Alright.
Let's see what goes.
Yeah, ow. That's exactly right. Come on.
Damn it, now going back that way. I guess we're lucky that didn't come down on top of us. We'd better push on. I'm sure the others will find another way out.
Alright, let's see what else we can find. Over here. Coin purse, Skelly, another healing potion. This tunnel is where the bridge collapsed. McAfee has died. What do you mean, Alex? Coin purse.
That doesn't go anywhere. I guess we'd better try this way.
Ah. Hi, Schneifut. Nice to see you. Welcome in. Spooters!
Where'd you come from?
That'll teach you to cross me.
Alright.
Giant snakes.
So level 3, I'm going to take a health level. We're going to go over to smithing. The art of creating and improving weapons and armor from raw materials. Steelsmithing can create steel armor and weapons it forges and improve them twice as much. That's my level 3 choice. Knock that off my build plan document. Excellent. He married his favorite prostitute and committed suicide in prison. Well, I didn't know much of anything about the guy. I think his antivirus sucks. Hey, a silver garnet ring. That's important. I need a few rings for enchanting later on. 6 total, in fact. And there's the first one. You'll love to see it. Alright, here we go. So we got skeever tails, which will go into potions later. Spider eggs, again, potions later. Iron mace. Desiccated corpse with some gold. Spider egg, and onward. The page to download actual viruses to test your security was good. Yeah, that about sums it up, doesn't it? Alright. Potion of health, iron dagger.
Hold up. There's a bear just ahead. See her? I'd rather not tangle with her right now. You might be able to sneak by. Just take it nice and slow, and watch where you step. Or if you're feeling lucky, you can take this bow. Might take her by surprise. Go ahead. I'll follow your lead and watch your back.
Press Control to start sneaking. Blackbriar Mead is important. The iron helmet's an upgrade. I'm going to raise heavy armor before light. I'm raising my non-used skills first. But Blackbriar Mead plays into a rare gifts quest for the Jarl of Falkreath. I probably won't end up actually doing that quest with Hearthfire installed. It gets preempted if you hit level 10 before you get there, which I almost certainly will, but for now, it's on the list of things I need. Yeah, sneak by, whatever. Let's wreck this bear.
That's the end of that.
It is good practice to always try to heal damage with restoration magic, so bear claws will be used for alchemy, and a standard bear pelt is pretty important as a Hearthfire construction material. You need 11 standard bear pelts to build everything in Hearthfire, so... Alright, that's gonna do it for here. Yay, tutorial dungeon.
This looks like the way out. I was starting to wonder if we'd ever make it.
To Skyrim! Alright. I'm not ending the stream yet. We'll go another 90 minutes or so, but when Hadvar's done yakking, I am going to take a brief restroom break and grab myself a beverage. Once Hadvar's done yakking.
Wait!
There goes Alduin. It'll be a while before we see him again.
Looks like he's gone for good this time. But I don't think we should stick around to see if he comes back. Closest town from here is Riverwood. My uncle's the blacksmith there. I'm sure he'd help you out. It's probably best if we split up. Good luck. I wouldn't have made it without your help today.
Okay, so, got my first achievement just then. Unbound. Complete Unbound. That's 1 out of 75. 1%. My Steam overlay does not get captured by OBS. How strange. Anyway, Unbound. I have escaped both my execution and a dragon attack at Helgen. I now have my freedom to do as I see fit in Skyrim. Let me take that off my quest list. It's another massive document at this stage of a playthrough. As it should be. As it should be. We have finished Unbound. Way down at the main questline section. And we've also begun Before the Storm. Hadvar suggested that I head to the nearby town of Riverwood. His uncle is the blacksmith there and should be able to help me. Talk to Alvor in Riverwood. Alright, that's a great place to make a first real anchor save. And like I said, I will be right back. I'm just going to use the restroom and grab a drink. Ha! A new Mr. Chair. Yes, there he is. Say hello. Okay. Let's get rolling out here in the world. I want to make sure I grab all the snowberries. I need those for potion making later on.
Closest town from here is Riverwood. My uncle's the blacksmith there. I'm sure he'd help you out. It's probably best if we split up. Good luck. I wouldn't have made it without your help today.
Alright, we'll get to talk to Hadvar later, so I'm not too concerned about him. But you can get a total of 3 snowberries along this path, which is fairly important. I ultimately need 27 of them for my crafting loop.